process of decluttering, and I found these crumpled pieces of printouts from an article on lookism. I can't actually remember the exact title, but I'm going to read out loud some of the things I've highlighted, as well as other parts, and just briefly explain why I agree or how I can relate. It's very upsetting to be an actual bullied, ugly person who faces lookism, because I believe that most people don't even know what lookism is because they've never had lived experience of it, and therefore they've never had to endure it, or they just think it's acceptable to be horrible to people who they deem ugly or such words. Okay, so epistemic injustice, the case of lookism. Epistemic injustice, in Fricker's own words, is experiencing wrongs, specifically in one's capacity as a knower. 2007. Fricker famously distinguishes between testimonial injustice and hermeneutic injustice as two fundamental forms of epistemic injustice, cases in which a speaker is afforded a credibility deficit due to prejudice reasons, i.e. due to his or her identity, gender, race, class, disability, are cases of testimonial injustice. For example, a woman not being believed due to gender-specific biases on the listener's side experiences testimonial injustice. Rooted in prejudice, hermeneutic injustice concerns those forms of injustices through which a person is disadvantaged in making sense of their own social experience. It is having some significant area of one's social experience obscured from collective understanding. Fricker, 2007. His main example for hermeneutic injustice is Carmita Wood, founder of the group Working Women United, who experiences inappropriate advances, being touched and kissed against her will by her boss at work, becomes ill as a result and ends up having to quit her work. Yet she does not fully understand what exactly is happening to her. Upon stumbling into a lecture of the women's movement, she discusses her experience with others, and they come up with the term sexual harassment to describe their experiences. This creates a click aha moment for her. She is now able to understand the advances of her former boss as sexual harassment. While she may have been aware beforehand that she was wronged, conceptualizing it as sexual harassment discloses a fuller picture of the quality and extent of the harm done. She was previously in a situation of hermeneutic disadvantage, and this state of being disadvantaged in this way, not understanding one's own social position, is a form of hermeneutic injustice. And then blah blah blah, and then there's another part called the taboo of ugly. To all my fellow ugly people, let's start a conversation on this, because it's really not okay to not be able to go outside with children, adults and others just full on make racist and lookist and sexist remarks all over something that you literally have no control over. And it's just how comfortable people feel in saying nasty remarks over someone's appearance. But yeah, hardly anybody wants to be ugly. So quote, a person who is negatively discriminated against because of their race or gender is less likely to have a problem, citing race or gender as the cause of their experience of discrimination, although such dismissals still frequently occur. However, being ugly is fairly uncontroversial that lookism is a source of injustice. And there have been some reflections on lookism in ethics and political philosophy. Can I just quickly make a point as to how this is relating to the image release in the university? If I was not an unattractive, disabled, visibly different ethnic minority female with no breast development, with no, stereotypically beautiful features, with no way to stand up for myself, basically, Because of all of these characteristics beyond my control, the university staff decided to discriminate against me because of how I look. It's not acceptable. And it's never going to be acceptable, and they will be held accountable. Anyway, let me continue with, and I'm going to throw this away. It's very difficult for me to throw things away, including pieces of paper, but today I am challenging myself to throw away more things, to create more space for new, better things and cleanliness. And also, I really just don't need crumpled pieces of paper. It's really not serving me. Okay, so while the effects of being unattractive are arguably not as bad as discrimination based on gender... Well, no, you see, I disagree with that. While the effects of being unattractive are arguably not as bad as discrimination based on gender, race, class, or disability, it is clear that discrimination based on looks presents an injustice. For example, ugly people are denied various opportunities regarding work, romance, friendship, etc. in life, and beautiful people are not, for reasons solely determined by their looks. However, there are certain epistemic injustices ugly people may suffer in addition to being deprived of other social and economic goods. I can't even remember who the author of this paper is now. Spiegel. Spiegel. Okay. He says, in this paper, I argue, I don't know if it's a he or a she to be honest, but in this paper I argue that Fricke's seminal conceptualisation of epistemic injustice also applies to lookism as a social phenomenon. In particular, I'm going to argue that lookism is associated with an epistemic structure best characterised as a taboo. Unattractiveness in general and the discrimination based on it does not generate the same awareness as gender or race-based discrimination, partially for the reason that there is a different kind of discomfort associated with being identified as ugly. This is very painful. Every time I read it, I just feel hurt that this is something I'm actually going through. You know, wouldn't it be nice to just be able to read about things but not actually be going through it, but to be going through it and to know that it's continued to directly happen to me, everything from the non-consensual image uses to the wrongful dismissal to the wrongful exclusion to the wrongful arrest and sectioning to the wrongful everything. This has all been done because of my apparent unattractiveness. And I would like to just keep stating that in terms of behaviours, I think the ugliest people are definitely the perpetrators, but unfortunately people don't care what my opinions are. We still live in such a materialistic and vanity-based and surface level obsessed world. It's disgusting. To this year, right, I went to an interview and the director, and this was in October 2024, the director started talking about unattractive women and the apparent genetic factors of Asian people, and I just wanted to punch the guy.